In this video, I'm going to show you what you can do when you find yourself in this very one-sided relationship. So this is when you find that you have to do all the work and you're the one putting in all the effort to just keep your shit together. And if you're looking to empower yourself with the right skills and with the right knowledge to improve your relationship, then subscribe to this channel and be sure to click that bell button as well to be notified when I post new videos 5 days every single week. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Geoffrey, and I've made it my life's mission to help you create the relationship of your dreams. And in this video, I'm going to address a question that I got from one of my listeners, and the question goes like this. We've been married for 6 years, and ever since we got married, things has been really going downhill since the very beginning. But I still do care about him and our relationship, and I really still want to make it work. So I've been watching your videos, and I'm trying my best to do the right things here. But I'm not getting the same support from my partner, even though I keep telling him what to do or what I need. I feel like I'm doing all the work and he's not even trying to make this relationship any better. How can I keep going like this? Okay, so let's break this down here. So the first thing here is that when you're in a one-sided relationship, naturally you're going to feel like there's this very intense power struggle where you're kind of taking the bad side here, the low side, and your partner's taking the high side, the high horse. And you want to rebalance that. And the first instinct you're going to have is to want to force that rebalance to happen. So you do this by getting angry at your partner, by demanding that he treat you equally with more respect and so on, and kind of just strong-arming that to happen. And every single bone in your body, every single thought you have is going to want you to do this. And you will also think that this is actually the best way to get what you want, to actually rebalance that relationship. Because after all, we hear the saying that the best way to get something is just to ask something. But as you can already imagine here, this plan really breaks down because what you'll notice here is that your partner is not going to be open at all to what you're saying. And to understand why your partner is never going to be open to this and why this is actually a really, really bad route is to understand things from your partner's perspective as well. So when you have been bickering a lot, when you have been arguing a lot, what happens is not only do you have a lot of pent up stuff, but your partner also has a lot of pent up stuff as well. They have a lot of gripes, they have a lot of bitterness that they haven't addressed as well. And this can make your partner very defensive and very resistant. So if your approach here is to strong arm your partner to admire you more, or to have more equality here, that will actually create less of what you want because they're going to be very resistant to what you're saying because you haven't let that guard down yet. And so what happens is this perpetuates a really bad cycle usually where you're trying to force your partner to do something, then you're finding that he's resisting. Then when he's resisting, that makes you even more mad and strong arm even harder. And that makes your partner even more resistant. And instead of creating this balance that you wanted, you're actually creating less of a balance over time. And so when we find ourselves in this one-sided relationship, we need to take a more artful approach to restoring that balance. And to do that, we must understand the real problem here. And the real problem here is not that you need to try harder. You need to strong arm him harder. And the problem here is not that you haven't found that magic words, the silver bullet that will get him to say, oh, you're right, we should be more equal. That's what we're all hoping for, but that magic pill doesn't exist because the real problem here are two things. Number one, there's a lack of safety and there's a very large sense of threat in the relationship. Your partner is seeing whatever you say as a threat. It's either to get him to do something he doesn't want to do, to get him to say something he doesn't want to say, or to admit something he doesn't really want to admit right now. And the second reason is that your partner, again, has their own bitter stuff. They have their own baggage. And so they're thinking, why should I listen to you? Why should I do this? Why should I make the effort to do this when I'm not getting my own shit either? And then again, like we said, this cycle perpetuates. And when the cycle perpetuates, then over time, when you constantly bicker, when you constantly argue like this, then another ingredient breaks down, which is admiration. So you stop seeing each other as someone you can look up to. You start to see each other as enemies. And once that happens, there's no chance of you creating any power balance there. So understand that option one here, well, that's the first instinct you want to do. And it seems like the right thing to do. It's really the worst thing you can do. And it perpetuates a really, really bad cycle where it actually takes you further away from equalizing that relationship over time. And I know this is very counterintuitive, but this is a negative pattern that I see in so many relationships right now. And leave a comment with, I want to break the cycle if you're committed to taking the right approach to restoring that balance. And so we talked about what not to do. So what can you do here? How do we restore that balance? So I'm going to give you two solutions here. One solution is a short-term solution, and the other solution is a more long-term solution. So in the short-term solution, what you want to understand first is that whenever you're trying to get someone to do something, whenever you're trying to negotiate something or convince something of your ideas, We often try to approach of logically trying to convince them. So we try to say like, what are the magic words that I can say to convince them of my ideas? But logically convincing someone of anything never ever works, because we all make decisions from our emotions. So what happens is when you force someone to logically do something that's really against what their emotions wants right now, then you're going to either raise their guards up because they don't want to do it. They emotionally don't want to do it. Or if they do what you say, then they're going to only logically do it, but their emotions are not going to be in it at all. And because whatever they do doesn't come out of desire, it will never last long, or they will do it just out of obligation. And the first chance they get to not do it, they won't do it. And so when you force someone to do something, it's only a very short-term thing. But if you want permanent changes, then you need to appeal to someone's emotions. And the way you appeal to someone's emotions is by simply inviting them to accept your idea. So to imagine this one, imagine you have a house here and you basically want your partner to come in the house. And all you have to do is open the door and simply send the invitation to your partner and say, hey, you can come in anytime. If you try to strong arm your partner into that house, then he might go inside, but he's going to try to get out as soon as he can, whenever he has a chance. But if you simply open a door and simply invite your partner, when your partner does come in, then they will come in for real. So that's the power of appealing to someone's emotions instead of logic. And there are so many things you can do to invite your partner to consider your ideas more openly. But in one YouTube video, we can't address everything here. So I'm going to give you one strategy, one tip that you can use to guide your conversations in a way that will actually open up your partner a bit more and increase your chances of them listening to you. So when it comes time for you to want to state your thoughts, to kind of start the conversation on having a more equal footing in the relationship, then you want to start by inviting your partner to even have the conversation. So you can say something like, hey, something's been bothering me for a while. Do you have time to chat about that? Can we sit down for like 10 to 15 minutes to talk about that? And then you want to wait for your partner to give you that answer. And if he says no, then just leave it at that, right? He's not ready to have that conversation, and you can't strong arm your partner to come in the house with you and have that conversation when they don't actually want to have the conversation. And we'll talk about what you can do in the long term to remedy that situation. But if your partner says yes, then and only then do you actually give your recommendation. And when you give your recommendation, you also want to state it not in a statement, not as an imposition, but also as an invitation. So you can say, for example, I've been feeling like this relationship hasn't been balanced. I've been doing all the work here, and I feel like I would really appreciate it if you could reciprocate some of the stuff a bit more and try to work on the relationship with me a bit more. What do you think? And that final what do you think is crucial, because that what do you think transitions your recommendation from being an imposition to being an invitation. And that again will increase your chances of lowering their guards down. And if you want a video where I go into deeper detail of how you can conduct this conversation in a way that doesn't lead to their guards going up again and resisting what you say, then you want to watch the video above my head here, because that will give you a much better detailed breakdown of how you can deal with that conversation. But again, the point here is that you always want to make everything you say as an invitation, not an imposition. And the invitation means that if your partner doesn't want to come in the house right now and accept what you say right now, then you have to just leave it at that. Because when you invite someone and then they don't want to come in, or they don't want to take your invitation and you get mad, then your invitation wasn't really an invitation. And while you're doing this short-term thing of inviting your partner in, you want to focus on another long-term strategy. And so understand that the reason why you can't negotiate that win-win right now is that you haven't had the sense of safety yet. There's still so much threat in the overall relationship. There's still this lack of admiration in the whole relationship. And so whenever you bring up something, whatever you say will not be taken well. But what you need to do is to, in the long term, create the sense of safety and create the sense of admiration again. And when that happens, you'll find that whatever you say will be taken a lot better. So in a lot of my clients' relationships, for example, when they've really built this safety, this culture of safety where they can really say anything they want and each other are not going to perceive whatever they say as a threat, and when they've built this deep admiration, then communication will just flow freely. So in my relationship, for example, whenever my partner says something to me and says like, hey, Jeff, you need to do this, I'm not going to see that as a threat, so my guards will be low. So the odds of me taking it is going to be very high. And I also admire my partner enough to where I understand that whatever she says is valuable. And so instead of judging it, instead of crushing it down right away and rejecting it, I'm going to take it a bit better. But this is a lot more than what I can explain in one YouTube video. So if you want a resource that can allow you to create this safety, to set the foundations for creating that admiration, then you want to get access to my free training where I'll talk about exactly in detail, step by step, on how you can do that. And if you want access to that free training, then you can click the link in the description box below this video. And if you have other concerns or questions about your relationship that you want to ask, then you can also join our free Facebook group where you can post your question and actually good expert advice on your questions. And leave a comment below with any other issues you're facing in your relationship or any other concerns, and I'll try my best to respond to those comments as soon as possible. Or I'll even make a new video out of that in the future if it's a good question. And in the meantime though, if you like this video and found it to be valuable, then give it a like and do subscribe to this channel for more content like this one. But in the meantime, remember that you always have the power to transform your relationship by yourself. So even though your partner wants nothing to do with fixing the relationship right now, you still have hope. But in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.